Riri Williams was a genius, waiting to be acknowledged for your greatness.
You are not the first genius at MIT.
You know, I listen to a lot of rap music, and I know how angry black people are, and I feel bad, you know, for all you guys kind of put up with.
Well, that's very nice of you.
In 1994, that cringe was called comedy. Now it's unironically the attitude behind representation. Allyship, that's the new bigotry, and Ironheart continues to prove it. When they make a character's entire identity a rebuttal to a stereotype, that stereotype is still all that defines them. And Marvel thinks that's progress? Hey, we can make some progress for this fundraiser for Safe Families. All this video's ad money is gonna go to them, and I'll tell you about them at the end. After years of collecting dust on the shelf, Ironheart finally got a public trailer ahead of its June 24th release, and it already feels dated, which is probably why it got delayed so long. It's likely gonna be hilarabad, and we're gonna laugh at that after it's out. But for now, let's talk about performative allyship and the bigotry of low expectations. I'm actually told there's a medical term for this. Dr. Greg?
Somebody set my notebook on fire. Yes. Riri Williams is one of many who are suffering from a terrible disease known as struggalitis. Now, this was born in a lab in Hollywood, and this terrible affliction keeps black characters from ever becoming real people. It keeps them stuck in a series of stereotypes while presenting outwardly positive symptoms. That external positivity is what is so nefarious because the patients themselves will often be convinced that they're just fine.
Oh, that does sound awful. I think I can see it with Ironheart, though, which is odd because she wasn't created to mock black kids. Brian Michael Bendis was trying to honor his adopted daughters. Sadly, those good intentions couldn't stop the stereotype sickness.
It's not her fault. She's programmed with the most tragic backstory ever.
Yeah, Riri grows up in a poor neighborhood in South Chicago without a father. Her dad was presumed dead in a gas station robbery because poverty neighborhood, but actually faked his death. Now, this is relatable because I think a lot of you don't actually know this, but all black people are actually born in the ghetto. That's where they spawn in, every one of them.
I did learn it on the streets, on the ghetto, in fact.
No kidding.
It's even worse for Hollywood black characters. Sadly, they have a 100% rate of fatherlessness. Now, Williams' stepfather and her best friend were also killed in a drive-by shooting because gang violence, which all black people have also experienced.
Yo, I'm finna to tell you how it is in the hood. See, cause in the hood, everybody's a target.
Nah, I ain't like that. I'm gonna tell you the real deal what it goes on in the hood. See, in the hood, most of us won't reach the age of 21.
Fortunately, Riri is able to overcome these obstacles thanks to her super genius and intellect even greater than Tony Stark's. And the trailer is about a black character, so I think I know what this needs.
I like hip hop too.
Now, you might think this backstory sounds like the answer Nick Fuentes might give if he were asked, hey, how do you picture the average black person's upbringing? You might think the overemphasis on her genius as a counter stereotype ironically reinforces the stereotype of presumed racial inferiority. You might think that piggybacking on Tony Stark to elevate this new character is condescending and implies that black people can't make it on their own. And you might even think that focusing on a character's skin color while they achieve things seems pretty close to conditional praise, like, oh, they're really good for a black person. I'm sorry, there's no however that's coming after that. You would just be correct on all of those things. Also, don't be scared to murk that like button. Nah, I mean, playa. It's okay, I know black people. I also happen to know some Jordanian fellows. And the other day we were talking about coffee and the guy was drinking an Arabian coffee. And I was like, oh, well, kind of sounds like a Turkish coffee. He's like, no, it's different. You cook it for like 15 minutes. And I'm thinking, oh, that's going to be like black as midnight. It's going to be like the Guinness of coffees, right? It's not. It's delightful. Now, the accidental bigotry of allies has been kind of a common theme lately. Rose from the Doctor Who Christmas special last year is a trans woman. So naturally, every character that meets her or speaks about her remarks on her beauty. In an effort to fight a negative, the writers are only drawing more attention to Rose's clearly masculine features. The MCU wanted Falcon to be Captain America, and, rather than invest in him as a character, they just decided to suddenly make his race an issue where it had never been for either himself or Rhodey or Nick Fury. But he's black, so he did have to come up from poverty. And again, trying to fight a negative ends up making him look like an affirmative action Avenger instead of a hero in his own right. The same went for America Chavez, who is checking a Latinx box and even comes with a pride pin and 2 moms. Sadly, in all the excitement over the representation, nobody remembered to write her like a real character. So now they all feel like token mascots instead of people. They're reduced to flat stereotypes by supposed allies who clearly just can't see past their skin or their sexual preference.
Right now we have, young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids.
Ooh, self-burn. Those are rare.
From her comic inception to her screen debut in Wakanda Forever, Ironheart has felt like a set of checked boxes instead of a real person. And the problem is compounded by her astounding unlikability. Her movie version immediately shakes a student down, grabbing his phone to send herself money and then intimidating him. She sells academic cheating services on the side. Black people gotta have a side hustle. With the cool subversive trend at that time that, already feels dated, she is also extremely masculine in speech, manner, and dress. Now, you might think that portraying a woman as strong by having her act like a man actually makes men the standard of strength. Unfortunately, she does have crippling struggalitis and is unable to speak without a heavy black scent and refer to things like $1,000 as a band, like all tough black people are required to do. Her dialogue and delivery sound like an actual parody.
For real. And I'd be like, yo, mommy, cook us up some of them salty fish and the pea. Suck it all up, and bring it up right in my lip.
But the worst part of her character is shared by the film and comic versions. She literally requires a victim mentality to be motivated. Her comic origin has her asking her teacher to doubt her, just so she can prove everyone wrong, like the first black female astronaut. Naturally, her teacher is baffled and doesn't want to do it, but after multiple panels of silent protest, the teacher reluctantly tells her, okay, you can't be Tony Stark or whatever. The movie version also enjoys it.
The professor said I'd never be able to do it. To be young, gifted, and black, though, right?
This character is insufferable, but the creators of the struggalitis virus can't see anything about her but her skin color. So naturally, they assume that all hate solely because of that. I mean, it's not her terrible attitude or her unapologetic bombing of these cops or the attempted shortcut replacement of a popular character with a Temu version. Nope. It can only ever be racism, every time. This is a serious problem with writers who want to be allies. Not only do they pigeonhole characters into these stereotypes, but they forget that the audience doesn't share their DEI morality. See, in their mindset, a lack of preferred group being represented is oppression. So promoting diversity is an inherent moral good. It fights injustice. When a character like Ironheart is created to literally represent this moral ideal, the writers think the intro and the audience connection is already done. This is why there is such a disconnect with characters like Ironheart. She may have been well-intentioned, but the execution is atrocious, and the recent trailer and poster make her look like a villain. The series seems to begin with her doing illegal things for money so that she can build something, what was it?
Iconic.
Very heroic. She's selfish, self-serving, greedy, rude, and assumes the worst about strangers to fuel her own victim mentality motivation. But because she embodies the moral righteousness of representation, she's presented as a protagonist, which leaves the audience kind of scratching their head. I mentioned Sam Wilson earlier, who had the exact same problem. His show has him sympathizing with actual terrorists who blow up a building with live, conscious people tied up inside so they can send a message. He also physically attacks John Walker, who killed one of the terrorists after his best friend was murdered in the previous scene. Sam doesn't do anything that would get the audience on his side, but the creator doesn't understand why that would even be necessary. He's already fighting injustice just by being Captain America as a black man. Why would he need to do moral things? He embodies the highest virtue that one can signal. It's crazy to me that just 20 to 30 years ago, we had a lot of comedy about cringy people trying to connect with a person with a different skin color or sex using the most exaggerated stereotypes they could think of. We also had people like the Wayans brothers lampooning the stupid stereotypes coming from within their own communities. And now we're in a bizarro hellscape where this kind of performative ally nonsense is being done seriously. And they don't realize it's still hilarious. They have just become the punchline. The loudest bigots that you're going to find now are trying to stand arm in arm with the very people who they continue to put in boxes. And those of us that aren't personally affected still have to endure this creative wasteland with two-dimensional, preachy characters and plots. When I see something like Ironheart, I don't just see bad writing. I see a missed opportunity. A character who could have shown strength and vulnerability, complexity, but instead became a stereotype in cosplay. Brian Bendis wanted a hero that his daughters could look up to, and that is a lovely intention. But the truth is, kids don't need to see themselves on screen. They need people who see them. They don't need pandering with superheroes that merely look like them, especially ones with no scruples like Riri. They need families who love them, giving them safety and belonging. They need communities that treat them like full, actual people, not just causes or identity groups or rescue puppies they can post online. So it's National Foster Care Month, and I'm partnering with Safe Families for Children. They work to keep kids out of the foster care system by helping parents before things fall apart, giving families the support they need before the state gets involved, because nobody wants that. Give me a button down here to give, or I'll put a link to their website in the description, and I will be giving this video's ad money to them. Almost all of it actually goes to their mission, not their overhead. It's a really great organization. So, have you seen Wakanda Forever and the new Ironheart trailer? Have you read any of the comics with Ironheart? What are your thoughts and predictions for the show? I look forward to reading them, and I appreciate you watching. See you next time.